Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to give you a quick update on my car. Well, not this one today, on the other one. If you haven't watched the video, I purchased an E39 with only 18,000 miles, and I'm still debating what to do with it. But in the meantime, I decided to make some updates or upgrades to it, which don't worry, if you're worried about me not keeping the car OEM, this is not it. So before we can even get started, can we just acknowledge this garage space? Yes, I recently moved into this spot and it's still being cleaned up and worked on and all of that. I did the lights. I am doing a proper video on me installing these lights, but this is you sort of getting a sneak peek of what the end product is. But anyways, still cleaning up the garage, but I'm super excited about all the stuff I'm going to be doing in this garage. But anyways, quickly maybe about the M3. So the M3 has been actually getting driven quite a lot, but because of the fact that it's ceramic coated, it is actually staying fairly clean. Yes, the lip is dirty only because I scrape it. This over here used to be roadkill. It got cleaned up with some snow, but as you can tell, yes, the bumper gets dirty, gets filthy. Because of the fact that I do not tailgate people, I don't have that many rock chips, so this is pretty good. And I do not have paint protection, so yeah, I'm very lucky. What I do have are these guys. My mud flaps really protect the side of my car, part of the reason why the car stays so clean. But speaking of the car staying clean, check this out. I recently had my E39 fully detailed both inside and out, and it was a mobile detailer that came in. It was a recommendation from a friend of mine. Actually, the owner of the 911 that I drove recommended this person, and I've got to say he did a fantastic job. I mean, just look at the shine. Yes, it's not every swirl and scratch was able to be taken out, but this is, I want to say, 95% perfect. For example, there's a little, I don't know if the camera even picks it up, but there's a tiny scratch here, which used to be a deep gash. Now it's barely visible. There was also a little door ding on the side that is now taken out. There's a tiny mark over here, but the car is looking super clean, and it has been ceramic coated, and we used a better product. So this ceramic coating, the detailer said if I keep the car in the garage, which I plan on doing, it's going to be fine for about 2 years or so. So I'm very excited about it. That is, if I do keep the car for 2 years. By the way, again, look at these headlamps. This is a car that's 23 years old, and these headlamps look brand new. Now, these are not the headlamps that look like this after getting detailed. These headlamps look like this when I purchased the car, because again, 18,000 miles. This is what it looks like. Let's take a look at the engine bay. I know I showed it in my previous video, but just look how clean this engine bay is. Again, 18,000 original miles, and it looks as good as new. The wheels look fantastic. He cleaned them both inside. I am not a big fan of wheel shine, but he did it anyways. I forgot to tell him not to do it. But again, not the end of the world. I am really in love with these wheels. These wheels are so beautiful. I believe they're proper two-piece wheels. Yes, the bolts actually extend on the inside, so they're proper two-piece wheels. If I'm not mistaken, someone who knows about these cars, you can correct me, but they do look like two-piece wheels, and they look fantastic. And again, as you continue down the line here, what a beautiful car. I mean, I am in love with this deep dish. I'm sort of hoping that someone comes up with these wheels for this car, just in a slightly bigger version. If someone came up with these wheels, a version of those wheels in 19 or 20, I would absolutely consider it. I mean, these would look fantastic on this car, and this kind of makes me now want to maybe switch up my wheels and get something with a deep dish. But yeah, let's continue down here. Again, wow, just look how clean this paint is. You got the 540, and again, what is hiding in the trunk? I think yeah, so the trunk has been cleaned, but I put all the stuff back in it. Now, let's take a look inside, because inside, again, very clean. I put this up here so I don't damage the clean carpets. Oh yeah, look how clean these carpets are. Seats are very clean. Everything in this car is very, very clean. Now, the second mod that I'm going to be telling you about is this. So check this out. When I put the car in the ignition, I get it started, everything adjusts, which is very, very cool. You could see that the pixels are actually dead at the bottom. See, I have some dead pixels here. This is actually a very, very common problem in these cars, older generation BMWs. But luckily, there are services that can take care of that for you. So I am utilizing one of those services. So I'm going to be taking the cluster out and sending it out for repair. And in the next part of this video, I'm going to show you how to remove this cluster and either fix it yourself, or if you want to send it out, you'll be able to send it out. So now, to remove the gauge cluster in your E39, this is what you do. You take your key, you put in the ignition, you put in an accessory mode, and you lower the steering column down, and you bring it out to yourself as much as possible, because the idea is to remove it this way. Now, next is we open this little hidden storage compartment, and the idea is to remove this trim piece, because there's a screw that holds this bezel here, and also this trim piece, which also will reveal a screw that's hidden below. And this is what the car looks like without the cluster. We can now turn the ignition off. Funny, because when I turned the ignition off, the steering column did not back down, so I wonder if that's related. But yeah, so this is what it looks like. This is how we're gonna leave it for the time being until we get the fix ready. But I noticed that the lights are on even with the cluster being off. So what we're gonna do is, maybe it's just me, maybe I pressed something, but we're just gonna go ahead and disconnect the negative battery terminal. There you go. So I wrapped it in a piece of plastic and I set it aside. I am also putting a towel here just in case we close this by accident. So upon further inspection, I decided not to deal with this. I don't want to break any tabs. I'm going to leave it to the professionals. And guess what? I found this perfect box which will fit the cluster just fine, and we're going to go ahead and UPS it tomorrow. Well, hopefully this doesn't get broken off. Yeah, we're going to wrap it really nicely, and this gets shipped off. It takes about 2 days to do the work, and I'll get it back probably sometime next week. So I'll update you on how this turns out. And that was it. One simple mod, or still in progress, but it was time for me to get dirty with this car. See, she got my fingers dirty. This was a much needed fix because it would bother me. And if I ever am going to sell the car, this is something that I'm sure every buyer would pay attention to and would want it fixed. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.